every business is now becoming what? Eco-friendly. Because the conversations around today are focusing on businesses reorienting their operations to meet these societal needs. So today, you see these businesses reorienting for this purpose. So if you are looking for examples, these are some of the examples. So if you look at this checklist of companies that should satisfy the definition for social enterprises, from where you come from, do you have any company in your country that meets this need? Do you? Now, this example here is a US company that sells lenses, glasses. But for every that they sell, they donate one word for free. So they are selling glasses, but for every you buy, they donate one for what? For free. So if you look at that business model, Webley Parker can be a classical definition of what? A social enterprise. Because they are in the business of what? Selling lenses or glasses. But their commitment is that for everyone that they sell, they give one to an underprivileged who needs what? Glasses. So from where you are coming from, can you give me any example of companies in your country that are serving this social purpose? Identify the funding sources, then also. So once you identify the company that is doing that, you should be able to tell yourself, how are they funding it? It becomes easier for you. So help us. Which country and which company comes to mind? Yes. Give me the mic.
I speak French.
Okay.
OK. Au Sénégal, il y a la société de téléphonie mobile Sonatel avec Orange Money. Quand vous achetez des unités, ils vous donnent encore plus d'unités. Donc, si vous achetez 1000 francs, ils vous mettent encore 500 francs de plus d'unités. Et vous pouvez avoir aussi des Elemix. Ça veut dire que vous pouvez faire des Elemix d'une semaine ou d'un mois qui vont permettre de pouvoir communiquer gratuitement. Et à chaque fois, vous continuez à acheter parce que vous avez un intérêt dans ce qu'ils sont en train de faire. Eux, ils ont un intérêt aussi dans ce parce que vous êtes un client privilégié.
My small French tells me that he's talking about Orange, that for every data or so you buy, they donate some amount to other underprivileged people. Is that also? Oh, okay, not exactly. Okay, so which country and which example?
Kenya.
Okay.
And not particularly really enterprise, but I think it is where private schools normally give a slot for a child who's running away from harmful cultural practices.
So it's an educational focused social enterprise. So even though they are in the business of making money, that people should come and pay school fees for every academic year, they have a slot that says we will take money from the rich, but for the poor and underprivileged people, we'll give them access to what? Education. They are not just giving access to poor people to education. They are in the business of what? Making money. But complementing that business of making money with what? Solving a societal problem. Yes, another example.
So in Kenya, we have the mega communication company, Safaricom. They run a foundation where they sponsor underprivileged kids, kids coming from underprivileged families. So it's a limited company. So a limited company basically is there to make money. It's running as an enterprise, but at the same time is supporting the kids from such families. The foundation is in Thika.
Exactly. So from that example, you will see that the company is operating as a profit company, but they have a non-profit as what? A foundation. So that's how major companies operate. So if you see MasterCard, So they have the business side that runs business, and then they have the MasterCard what? Foundation. So you can say MasterCard runs a what? A model. Yes.
In Tunisia, there is a gym where people who can afford it actually pay to train kickboxing, and kids from underprivileged backgrounds train for free, and they get like championship training for free.
Thank you very much. So you see the examples. The examples cut across various areas of what? Society. So it's not just one example of what? A social enterprise. As many as the societal problems are, social enterprises can what? Develop along those value chains. Yes.
Hello, my name is Fatima from the Gambia. So in the Gambia, we have this boarding school that takes in orphans for free, and kids that are not orphans, they pay. Yeah, so
exactly.
I think, yeah.
So we now get the examples, right? We all get examples. I'm sure by now we could make a list of all the companies in our countries that are serving the need for social enterprises. So these are some African examples I want to share with you. So in Ethiopia, there is a company called So Rebel. So it's a footwear company, but it's creating jobs and promoting what? Sustainable shoe manufacturing. In Ghana, there is a company called Farmerline. It's a technology company providing support for what? Smallholder farmers. So they are making money, but they are addressing the information gap for smallholder farmers. So their focus is on addressing that smallholder farmer information gap. And then in Sierra Leone, there's a company called Easy Solar, which is a solar energy company that is providing affordable energy access to rural communities. So if you see these examples, you realize that there are vehicles that have been put into motion by the founders, not only to what? To make money, but to also what? Address a social problem. But they are not addressing the social problem independent of the business vehicle. So if you are an innovator here and looking to create a social enterprise, you cannot create a social enterprise without a business model. You cannot. If not, it's an NGO purely as that. But if you want to create a social enterprise, then it must be one that is created at the back of what? A business model that is running. Now, so how do these businesses pursue the social goals that we've been discussing? You realize that over the period, when this issue of social enterprises started, it started as a handout to underprivileged people. So in the UK, it started by where companies were providing housing for underprivileged workers. So it wasn't really integrated into the business. The business was seeing it as doing favor for people who were what? In need. However, with time, it shifted towards integrating the societal goals or the social goals into the business operation. So the companies now became concerned as to how, for instance, our operations can serve the need of society whilst we're still what? Doing business. I put this example here. This is a company in Ghana that sells water. But their business model is such that for every bottle of water you buy, they donate a certain percentage of the revenue to a hospital. So they've not said that keep selling our water, but anytime you buy our water, know that you've donated a certain amount to a certain hospital. So what they've done is to integrate the concept of social enterprise into their what? Business operation. So it's no more the decision of the company saying that, okay, it's the end of year, Christmas is here, who can we give money to? It has become an everyday part of the business operation of the company. So anytime they sell water, there's a certain percentage that goes toward donation towards that hospital. And now, most of these companies are now enrolling empowerment and impact interventions. So if you go back to the MasterCard Foundation example, they have a lot of models that they run, from equipping young people with IT skills, to educating people, to providing capital for businesses, to what? Providing training for young people, organizing educational scholarship for young people. So they are no more running as only solving societal problems, but they are also looking to what? Empower people. Because they believe that when they empower people, it will create a greater impact than just handing them what they need now. So most of these social interventions now are being focused on what? Empowerment and impact. And the examples we gave here, we saw that it cuts across what? Various sectors of our economy. Somebody gave the educational example. Somebody gave the health example. The gym, if you go to gym, is for your health needs, and also the hospital one, like this company in Ghana, the farmer line one, agriculture, MasterCard technology, the Safaricom, is it not Safaricom? The Safaricom one in the finance sector, because they do mobile money, M-Pesa, yeah? They cut across, so they support a lot of events. So all these interventions are not one area. So even though we are here on the back of a UNFPA program, where FCM, is that also? FMG, is that also? FGM, sorry. FGM is the focus for this summit. It doesn't mean that when you leave here, all your interventions should be towards what? FGM. Why do I say so? Maybe somebody just needs education to be able to change the person's mind. So when you all go and focus on the practice itself, you may not be addressing that problem. Maybe somebody needs access to information to be educated about the what? The adverse effects. So how do you use your innovative processes that may have cross impact on solving a certain societal problem should be the focus. Now, so if these are what social enterprises do, how have they been funding their activities over the period? And how are they funding it now? So for most of these social enterprises, originally, they were funding these activities from portions of their profits. Because when they make money, they decide that, okay, let's put some aside and support societies and also. Now, it is moved to a defined commitment of a portion of the company's revenue. So the Ghanaian example I gave you, that says that for every bottle of water we sell, a certain percentage towards what? Supporting the hospital. So what it tells you is that that company now is financing their social enterprise through what? Defining a certain percentage of their revenue towards that purpose. So you wake up one day and say, how is this company able to support this? Because what? They've committed that a certain percentage of their revenue will go to that cost. So whilst you sit here, if you're thinking about a social enterprise, maybe you make bags and you're asking yourself, how do I support 100,000 students or kids in my rural community with how do you do it? Do I begin to write proposal to companies like UNFPA, or I write to MasterCard Foundation, or I go to Safaricom, and you are thinking about how to, ways you can do it, is to say that For every bag you sell, there's a certain percentage of the money that goes towards what? Providing bags for the kids that go to school. And what you do with that is that you make it as part of your marketing commitment. So people know that if I go and buy the bag from, he's not supporting anybody. But when I buy it from B, there's a certain percentage of that revenue that goes to B. B will set aside to go and provide bags to 1,000 students. So by the time you realize you've not set any money aside, I've contributed. The ways at which you do that is finding commitment from your revenue towards funding that. Or you look for a multifaceted funding approach, which sometimes includes looking for grants, looking for impact partnerships. Now, what young people always go to organizations is that will give young people money because they are doing great things. What most organizations will be partners. Partnership because they have a certain network. Thanksgiving school. Maybe UNFPA can say they don't have money. But you know UNFPA organizes conferences, is that also? Partner UNFPA and say that for all the conferences coming next year, the souvenir bags you give to be to use them. So that when I sell them, the profit I make from selling those bags to you, I commit them towards my social enterprise. Do we get it? That but what they've done for you is to give you an opportunity to sell more bags, make profit to fund your social. But if you've just gone to them and say, give me money, I'm not sure they will give you money. They will not. Because you are not the only one who have come to them that you want to donate school bags to kids in an 1,001. But if you go to them with a certain model, where they now see that they are on a certain partnership with you, that they are still you are still supplying bags that they need for their conferences. But whilst they are for so begin to look at options to be able to drive revenue and use portions of that revenue to do that. But no matter what model you want to use, your ability to secure funding is largely influenced by the set goals that you have. Please, let's be clear about this. Your ability to secure funding is influenced by the set social goals that you have. So for instance, the water company I mentioned, because they sell water and then they support hospitals, and also, if I'm an individual who don't believe in providing access to people to go to hospitals for free, I will never buy that water. You know that. If I don't believe in kids having bags going to school, whatever model you have, I will never be interested. It's the same for climate change. People who don't believe in climate change and all its issue are doing all the things climate change say they shouldn't do. Is that also? Companies are still, who don't believe in plastic waste, are still producing with what? Plastics. So if you want to secure funding from any of the sources, either loan, partnership, grants, impact investments, or from the sale of your own product, your social goal you set for yourself will influence that. So if you are focused on education, be ready to only attract people who believe in what? Education. If you are focused on health, be ready to attract people who believe in what? Health. That is how life is. So as you sit here as an innovator, you should begin to redefine what social purpose or what social goal do you want to have. Who are the people who may support that social goal? Because that is the only way you will get what? Funding for that enterprise. If not, you are not going to get it. But the good news is that technology has come to broaden the scope and the borders for funding. So today, somebody in Kenya can open a crowdfunding platform, and people across the world who believes in that social goal can donate money towards that goal. Is that also? So that opportunity is also there today. But like I said, even that, people will only contribute towards the goal they believe in. So if you are not able to have a social goal that really addresses the problems that people are concerned about, even if it is free money, you are not going to get it. For those of us who go to church, if our pastor is doing the offertory, the special givings, we will be moved before we stand up. Is that also? Oh, you don't go to church here? We do. Or the pastors don't ask for money in church in Kenya. Or where you come from, they don't ask for money. But then they are very good pastors. In where I come from, they ask for money. So you must be sure that your social goal has a certain constituency. So don't go and focus on a social goal where nobody is interested in. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it's not everything that you get people to support. That's how life is. So you should really understand what will people support and how do you embed that into your enterprise so that you can unlock funding. If not, you have a brilliant social intervention you want to support, but you will never be able to what? Get money for it. That will not be your auntie in the village costing it. So like I've been saying, so despite the funding options that we have available, the only reason you'll be able to unlock funding for your social enterprise is where you have a project goal that aligns with your business model. The only way you can do that is where you have a social goal that aligns with your what? Business model. Social goal that aligns with your business model. Now, so what must you do to make sure that you have a social goal that may align with your business model? So you must make sure that if your project goal is to provide school bags for school kids, it is aligned with a certain social purpose. Because we all expect school kids to ordinarily have school bags. Is that also? So if your social purpose or your project goal, for instance, is to provide iPhones to school kids, will you get somebody to support you? Will you get somebody to support you? Nobody will support you. Because ordinarily, nobody expects school kids to have what? iPhone. So if your social enterprise goal is not aligned with a certain social purpose, you're not going to get funding. So the bag example, ordinarily, if you go tell a story to someone that I'm selling bags, that's my business. But for every bag you sell, there are 1,000 students in a village in Kenya that go to school every day without bags. So when you buy my bag, 2% of my profit will be put aside to supply bags to those kids. You think the person will not be moved? The person will be moved, is that also? Because that is serving a certain social purpose. But if you go tell the same person that you went to that village, you realize that the school kids don't have cars they go to school with. So you want to provide cars for every school children in that community. Nobody is going to mind you. So you must make sure that your project goals align with a defined social purpose. What are you looking to solve? Then you must aim to uplift the people you are targeting. You must aim to what? Uplift them. Because you cannot have a social enterprise whose goal is not to what? Lift the people from where they are to an improved level. Do you understand? So if your project goal is not seeking to uplift the people from where they are, it's always difficult for you to what? To get funding. And then you must also seek to use your social project goal to create a sustainable path towards a meaningful livelihood. Sustainable path towards a what? A meaningful livelihood. So for instance, let's take the example of shoes. You make shoes. And then your social impact project is that for every shoe you sell, for every 100 shoes you sell, you want to donate 10 to a community. And you are looking for people to come on board this social enterprise project. The question everybody will be asking will be, what will the shoe be doing? So if you are seeking to provide shoes to those people, it should be shoes for their everyday life. Is that also? Is that also? You don't go for fanciful shoes like sneakers or shoes they wear to the dancing floor, high heels. Then you are not providing a meaningful what? Pathway. Because if it's in a rural community, the concern is about making sure that they wear something every day so that they don't walk what? Barefooted. Is that also? So what is the business of high heels? What is the business of high heels? Will high heels serve that purpose? No, high heels will not serve that purpose. So whatever it is, your solution or your goal must seek to provide a sustainable path to their meaningful livelihoods. So you are providing sandals for school-going kids that they can wear. Is that also? And they can wear for the rest, maybe for the 2 or 3 terms they go to school. But if you go and provide high heels, Oxford shoes, it's never serving any need, really. And then your project goals must also be smart. So they must be specific, they must be measurable, they must be achievable, they must be relevant, and they must be what? Time bound. And then finally, in any project design, the goal must be to use your business to what? To drive it. So if you have a project that you cannot use a business model to drive it, then know that you are not seeking to what? Create a social enterprise. If you cannot use your business model to drive it, then you are just setting up an NGO, or you are just necessarily setting up a charitable organization where you want to be charitable to society. But we cannot call it a social enterprise. Because for every social enterprise, it must be within the what? The business vehicle. So always seek to create projects that you can use your business vehicles to drive. So now let's look at some examples of great goals that you can set. So for instance, if you see goal 1, it says to reduce food waste in the local community by 50% within the next 5 years. So for instance, I'm a farmer that supplies vegetables to supermarkets or to eateries and restaurants. This can be my social enterprise project. Because maybe when I supply to them, they do what? The products go waste. Is that also? Because either I am oversupplying the market or I'm not supplying the product in a way that will have extended shelf life. Is that also? So if I have this as my goal, then what I will begin to do on my farm will be to ensure that either I'm producing vegetables in the right quantity or I'm using methods that increases the shelf life of the vegetables when they get to the market. So now when I supply my tomatoes, within 2 days, they are rotten. How do I produce in a way that when the tomatoes get to the shop, it can get there, it can be there for what? Maybe 1 week. So that increase in shelf life will be a way to what? To reduce the what? The waste. Is that also? But you realize that I'm still doing it within my what? My business model. It's still within my business model. Or to provide job training and employment opportunities for 100 low-income individuals in the next 5 years. You are manufacturing bags in a rural community. You want to create more jobs. What does it mean for your business? It means you must increase your sales. Is that also? You must increase your channels so that you can take on more people. So once you increase your sales, once you create new channels, you'll be able to absorb more people within the community. But you are not just employing those people within the community. You are saying you will train them before you what? You give them the job opportunity. So you organize training for them either on how to design the bags you are producing or how to package the bags you are producing or how to market the bags you are producing before you engage them. So once you do that, it fits within your what? Your business model. So if you go to UNFPA and you say that, look, the 1,000 bags I said you guys should buy from me next year. When you buy the 1,000 bags, I will increase my production from 50 to what? 1,000. What it means is that I will recruit more people in the community. So what you are doing, you are not creating a new venture outside of your business. You are only using the same business model to create opportunity for others to get what? Employment, but as skilled employees. So the rest, to increase access to clean water, to improve mental health and well-being, to reduce carbon emission. Maybe now your production methods are not eco-friendly. So you are committing yourself to what? Implementing eco-friendly production methods. So it is your same business model that you are using to what? To create that social enterprise and making sure that the society is not affected or people within the society benefit from your business activity. So these are some examples. So when you go back, you look at your business, you look for a social purpose that aligns with your business, you must define a goal you want to achieve, and it must follow some of these examples. Now, so why will your goals influence your funding success? I said it here that it is your goals that will determine whether people will give you money. They will do, because sometimes when you have a clearly defined goals, it helps you to build trust and credibility with potential investors. Because anyone you go to with a clearly defined goals knows that you are serious. That's one. So if you go to UNFDP and you say, buy the bags for your conferences, if you buy it, I will commit 2% to supporting young people with school bags. They know you are what? You are serious. Because you have a clear idea of what you are doing. And because it will demonstrate clearly what needs to be achieved and how it will be achieved, people will be ready to give you money, or people will be ready to partner you on that journey. It will also give you an opportunity to provide a clear direction for how you want to use the resources. So you are telling UNFPA that when you buy the bags, 2% will go to funding school bags for kids. Is that also? So they know how the resources will be used. And then it will provide a benchmark for them to assess you. So maybe they've ordered for 1,000 bags. You said you commit 2% to providing the bag. Maybe middle of the year, they can ask you that, oh, can you tell us how many bags you've been able to supply to school kids so far? Because at least they bought some for you and also. So they can have a clear benchmark to be able to measure whether truly you are creating an impact or not. So what will be on their scorecard? Anyone you go to for the person to fund your social enterprise project, what will be on that person's scorecard? What are the checklists the person will be ticking? One of the checklists is that there is clarity of purpose, that your goal is clearly defined. You are aiming for impact. You are seeking to use sustainable ways of doing that. You have a team that can help you deliver. Because, for instance, if currently you are the only one producing the bags, and you come to UNFPA, that they should give you an order for all their conferences next year, and it's 10,000, how will you be able to deliver? You cannot. So it means that you must have a team. So they'll be looking at your team, the capabilities of your team, their competencies. How will they be able to support you to deliver? They'll be looking at the innovation you are driving. Support, buy bags from me. I'll support school kids. Is that not so? Is that not innovative? Is that not? It's innovative. Is that not so? From just writing a letter and saying, give me money, let me go and support school kids. It's innovative. So they'll look for the innovation you are seeking to drive. They'll look whether you are looking to partner. They will be looking for that. Like I said, unfortunately for young people in Africa, our brothers and sisters who were before us have not lived a very good mark in terms of how they spent money. So now most organizations are not ready to what? To give us money. Is that not true? Or that's only true in Ghana? Or here they give you money. So nobody is willing to give young people money anymore. So if a young guy goes looking for funding and he's not focused on partnership, but he's looking at, I want to do it, give me the money, give me the money. Know that that's a red flag. No organization will give you the money. So they'll be looking to understand whether you are looking for what? Partnership. Are you looking for support? And then the way you also manage your finances is one of the things they'll be looking for. So what it means is that you should have clear books of accounts by now. Your business must have records. That shows that you are good in managing your finances. And then you must have a governance structure. Governance basically saying that it is not you who is a shareholder, who is a managing director, who is a chief finance officer, who is also the sales and marketing person. This is linked to what? Your team. Who and who are on your board? Who and who are on your team? Very important. Is it only you who approves all the decision, or somebody approves a certain level of decisions? So those governance issues are very, very important, because there is a current news, I'm sure you would have heard it. There's a Ghanaian fintech company called Dash that over the last 5 years has raised about $80 million, but they just went down the drain last 2 weeks because of what? Governance issue. After they raised the money, the guy paid himself $50,000 every month as salary. They were supposed to be doing cross-border payments, but he wasn't doing it. So governance, very, very important. Then, even though the investors or founders have scorecards, you yourself, you must be prepared before you go to them. You must be ready. How will you be ready? You must define your mission and your impact goals clearly. You must develop a sustainable business model that generates revenue. Because I said this is not a charitable organization. Then you must build a strong team with the necessary skill and expertise. You must foster innovation in your approach to addressing social and environmental challenges. You must establish partnership with other organizations and stakeholders. Implement sound financial management processes, including budgeting, focus, and reporting. Develop a strong governance structure with a board of directors and policies and procedures for decision-making and accountability. And continuously monitor and evaluate your progress towards achieving your mission and impact goals. You must start something before you go looking for money. That's what I've been saying here. You don't have the idea and say, I'm going to UNFPA. They need to partner me on this. This is a brilliant idea. Nobody has done it before. No. You must be ready. You must start something. And you must start something by showing results for all these things before you go looking for funding. Because without that, nobody is going to give you money. And whilst you are doing that, please don't lose track of funding vehicles that are emerging. I discussed the issue of crowdfunding already. There are other vehicles that are also emerging, focus on sustainable issues like green bonds, green financing, social impact bonds. So make sure that you know about it and that your project goal is aligned to it. And then there are other ways by which we can do this as well, which is called community participation. Sometimes we don't get funding for our social impact project because we don't involve the community. If you go involve the community, you'll be surprised that there are people within the community that can even give you money or commit their resources to funding your objective. So for instance, in that community that you are looking to supply school bags to, if you've gone to the opinion leaders and the assembly people or local government people in that community, and you say, look, I want to supply 1,000 bags to school kids here, but I don't have the money. I have order for 100,000 bags. I need people from the community to come and help me produce it. When they help me produce it, in return for the salaries I will pay them, I will use it to donate the school bags. Some communities will have people come to do that. Is that also? Is that also? Yes, so it's the community involvement that is also important. Sometimes there are resources within the community that you can leverage. And then there are a lot of impact accelerator programs that are being run sometimes. Sometimes it's good for you to go into those programs because some of them offer grants at the end of the program. Some of them offer capacity building initiatives that you need. And that way they create opportunities and network for you so that you can benefit from it ultimately. And lastly, what are some of the approaches you can adopt for managing your social enterprises? There are several of them, but I've highlighted 5 of them here. One is result-based management approach. So either you are focusing on results. So for you, your target was to donate 1,000 bags in 5 years. How have you achieved that? That's what you are focused on. Or your target is to build skills for people. That will mean that you must bring on board people. Is that also? So how are you doing that? Or for you, it's about causing change. That now maybe people use plastics. You want them to use what? Reusable bags. So there are some shopping malls in Europe that when you go, they don't give you rubber after you've bought things from the shop. They will encourage you to bring your own bag from the house. If you've not come with your own bag, they will sell it to you very expensive. You'll be shocked that a polythene bag would have been sold at that price. What they are doing is trying to what? Cause you to, they are trying to cause you to what? To adapt. Sorry. To adapt. So they are trying to cause a change. So that may be their social enterprise model. That for us as supermarket, we want people to stop using what? Plastics. So that's why when you enter the shops, they will never give you rubber bags. After you, even if you bought the whole shop, they won't give you anything to put it in. If you want something, they will sell it to you. And then you go back and say, this shop is very wicked. No. They are seeking to cause a change. Or you look for collaborative management approaches or empowerment-based management approach. For empowerment-based management approach, is largely focused on giving people the skills to go and start their own businesses, giving people the skills or the support to go and do their own things. So making them independent agents, not that they will always be depending on you. How do you empower the people? So some of them are women-based. You see them soap making, shoe making, dress making, so that when the woman leaves, he or she can go and start his or her shoe making or soap making business wherever. Then finally, don't forget you are in for impact. Therefore, focus on adopting strategies that aligns with your vision by prioritizing collaboration and partnerships, by focusing on building sustainable business model that generates revenue and create value for stakeholders, and by prioritizing innovation and continuous learning, so that when these four things come together, they will help you to create the impact you want. Without these four things, you cannot be using your social enterprise to create impact. So make sure you are aligning and prioritizing all of them, so that at the end of the day, all of these will converge in the middle, where you create an impact as a social enterprise project. On that note, I thank you so much for listening to me. The floor is open for questions. I wish they were real gifts. Yes.
Thank you very much for that presentation. I'll confess that I was not that excited coming here, because I thought it was just about business. But I really learned a lot from the presentation. So I have a question and a contribution. So a comment. You talked about something that is, when you were talking about the importance of social enterprise, you did talk about us that are advocating for FGM. I'm sorry if I quote you wrong. Not just focusing on the practice or one approach, but also do the education part. So there's this unfortunate issue in my country where we are having National Assembly members trying to repeal the FGM law, which was FGM was, we came into effect in 2015. So right now, they want to repeal the law. And we've realized that when we interacted with some of them, after that conversation, we've realized that most of them don't even have knowledge about FGM. They don't even know which part of the female genitalia is cut. So, which is a very unfortunate situation, because we were not even thinking of having an advocacy session with them when they were elected in office. So to our surprise, that is what we found out. So to me, I think that is really very important. And my question is, can UN agencies also try to convince their business partners, those they give contracts to? Like I've seen in my country, UN agencies will give a contract to an individual. A lot of contracts, which has to do with providing, producing IEC materials, banners and stuff for the whole year. And you don't see that person doing something in the society or having a corporate social responsibility to do a social giveaway or something. So can they also have maybe an agreement in that case to tell those people that, okay, if we are going to give you contracts for the whole year, you're also going to commit this much percentage to the work that we do, or do something to give out? Can these agencies also do that?
I think the agencies have the power to do that. Unfortunately, I don't work with UNFPA directly, so I will not be able to commit on their behalf. But I think that they have the power to do that because the values of contracts they give is an opportunity for them to negotiate for some of this impact from these people that work for them. So I'm sure we have staff from UNFPA in the room. They are listening and they will take it up because that is a great way of influencing change at the local level and getting businesses to commit to a certain social enterprise. So it's great if that can be looked into. Because now, for instance, matters of environmental sustainability has become a benchmark where I'm not sure they will give contract to people who don't believe in climate change and protecting the environment. So the same way for issues that matter like the FGM, they should be able to integrate some of those benchmarks into how they award contract and what levels of support those who win the contract should give to communities in which they find themselves. I think it's a very laudable idea. Any other question or contribution or comment?
So I'm also a lawyer and I advocate for young women innovation ideas. So I've always had a question for the longest time because most of these innovative ideas in NGO, social enterprises, in the government, most of them come from young people, but they are never recognized when they hit up there. Like we have an instance of M-Pesa in our country. I'm my local here. So like M-Pesa, the idea was a social enterprise from a very young man who was not enlightened on the legal part of the on the innovation part. He came up with the idea, pitched it to the Safaricom heads. They bought the idea. For me, it was very unfair, although then the guy thought it was good money for him. But I think the originality was not backed up. It came from a very young man. And right now, he can't even own it. Like, he's not recognized anywhere. They only know it is from Safaricom. So most of the young people here, we have great ideas. We pitch them to high-end table members. They get our idea, they pitch out, and we are never recognized. So I was requesting for all the members here to advocate for
legal protection.
Yes, for the young innovators.
It's one of the areas I'm very passionate about. Intellectual property is what we young people have. Largely, we don't have money to support it, but ideas are ours. So we must always ensure that whosoever we are speaking to and engaging, a non-disclosure and non-circumvention and non-competitive use agreements are signed. It's very, very important because somebody will steal your idea and make money out of it because you don't have money. So please, if you have that idea, if you are innovative, don't just go pitching your idea to everybody. You must first ensure that there is an agreement in place that if the person doesn't support you, your idea is still protected. Very important.
Okay. My name is Benjamin Makori from Kenya. Mine is just to recommend you for the good work that you have done. I think sometimes back I was given this task of training on entrepreneurship. And I think I must have done errors to those people whom I train because, of course, I delivered. But you have really highlighted me and opened in a very, very easy way to explain it. So thank you so much. You know, I came to this summit just maybe to understand more about things to do with the FGM and gender-based violence, but I've gained something extra. So whenever you're in Kenya, maybe you can pass by our organization so that in any session that you'll be training, at least we can give you even a suit. So at least we'll be innovative.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Any other?
Thank you. My name is Sana. I'm from UNFPA Morocco country office. My question is for the audience. I want to ask if there is any experience sharing for office to work with any social enterprise. I'm not talking about the big one, which are organized, but the small one. Because I know that UNFPA, they are encouraging us to work with the social enterprise and make them as our partners. So I want if any office have this experience, so can share it. Thank you.
So the question is to everyone. Any experience of working with, so be thinking about it whilst we think the next question. Okay, you have the answer. Okay, so.
Okay, well, once I have the mic, I would just say that to answer her question, first of all, we are currently, UNFPA Ghana, we are currently considering let's say, a partnership with one organization in Ghana called Macintosh. But the proposal they brought on board, they're also a social enterprise, but they're actually looking for money from us. And then, because they just believe that the UN always has money to give out, but now it's not like that. UN, we're actually looking for a lot of money. So I don't know if that partnership will fly, because as much as they're looking for money, they are also giving us a quota of what they are looking to do. You get it? So at least we have experience working with social enterprise. Also, I wanted to ask the example you gave about the companies in America that don't give out plastic bags. Will we say that is a social enterprise? Because as they charge you for not bringing your own bag, or they charge you exorbitant fees for giving you that plastic bag, are they going to contribute that money towards a certain purpose?
Okay, so it's Tesco in the UK. So what they ordinarily would have done was that every shopper was entitled to a shopping bag. Is that also? But because they've understood the effect of that plastic on the society, they want to discourage people from what? Repeated use of what? New bags. So when you are coming to shop, they expect you to bring your own bags. When you don't bring your own bags, they punish you for not bringing your bag. So the fees you pay, even though they don't contribute towards any fund, is to demotivate you from what? Doing that again. So what it means is that over a period, people will adapt and change their shopping habits and now begin to what? Bring reusable bags. What that will do ultimately is to reduce the effect on what? On society. So you see less plastic. We will not see entirely zero plastic, but you see less plastic than everybody now walking out of the shopping mall and being given one plastic every day, every time. So that's, you can look at it as a social enterprise model, because ultimately it will reduce a social problem. What they are not doing is to say that when we sell it to you expensively, we'll use that money to contribute to a certain fund. I'm sure if some plastic waste or plastic manufacturer goes to them and say, when you penalize the people, give that money to us to do maybe durable bags or do another form of shopping bags, I'm sure they will be able to do that in a form of a partnership. I'm very sure that the fees people pay for using plastic, they donate it to a company manufacturing something which is more durable, like the bags we have here instead of plastics. I'm sure they will be able to partner those people on that. But currently they are not, I'm not aware that they are donating that money to any social purpose. But what they are doing is still towards a social goal.
So I also just wanted to touch on the point on